Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to host you on the next panel session, together with His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Wojciech Tyczyński, the Ambassador of Poland to the Republic of North Macedonia. At the beginning, I would kindly invite Mr. Ambassador to open this session and address the audience. Mr. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank our hosts for organizing this forum, which is a very good platform to discuss issues and problems important for the whole Western Balkan region. Before I will pass to my main topic, I have one general remark. Because my speech covers also the issue of Visegrad Group, V4, I would like to stress that everything what I will be saying here, these are principally my Polish opinions. I represent Poland. I am ambassador of Poland in North Macedonia. We have presidency now in the V4 group. But I can speak only on my behalf, not on behalf of my Czech, Hungarian, or Slovak friends. Why? Because we have many common opinions, but there are also issues, problems about which we think in different way. And this is also exactly the substance, the essence of our cooperation, something what we can call pluralism in the unity. First issue I would like to discuss in this larger context, these are limits of the enlargement of the European Union. For our V4 group, for Visegrad Group, the key issue is here to start membership negotiations with two states of Western Balkans, North Macedonia and Albania, to start these negotiations as soon as possible. We are not happy about this yesterday's decision taken in Brussels. In our opinion, the whole project of building European Union will not be finished without taking into account interests of the states in your region. First of all, these two states I mentioned a while ago, which are practically ready to start negotiations. One of the last hour activity in this area related to the realization of our vision of enlargement was common non-paper diplomatic document signed by V4 countries, also by our friends from Austria. The non-paper was proposed a few days ago by the Hungarian government, and we sent this document to Brussels, asking about to include societies of Western Balkan states to the debate at the Conference of the Future of Europe. In this context, we count also that, we hope so also that Bulgaria and North Macedonia will find soon consensus, compromise in the field of their common history. In our opinion, and this is our common opinion, I can stress it, such problems, such discussions shouldn't block so important and so great European project, which is having historical significance for the whole Balkan region. talking about the borders or frontiers of the EU, future borders, my government, Polish government, remembers also about our neighbors at the east, in the east, such as Ukraine. We are fully aware that they have very serious problems now, and the geopolitical situation is very complicated. However, it seems to us that European perspective for countries from this post-Soviet region, even in the distant future, should be element of the European policy. The second issue I would like to mention, these are strategic alliances of the European Union. As we know, nowadays the world is getting more and more complicated, more complex, also in the geopolitical categories. There are states which not always don't want to develop friendly relations with the EU. They prefer approach rather or more confrontational, aimed at weakening the position of the EU and questioning our basic values. In this situation, my government, Polish government, supports logical policy to develop cooperation with strategic democratic allies of the EU. And saying this, I mean basically United States of America and the UK, and our joint counteracting possible threats to our interests.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I would like to discuss a little bit with you two questions. You have already mentioned the importance of the enlargement. You have mentioned the support of your government to this process. You have discussed about the strategy as well. And thank you for all. I want to acknowledge this as a gratitude on behalf of the Republic of North Macedonia. I would like to ask you, could you comment a little bit more on the specific reasons for such strong support of Poland or Visegrad Group for North Macedonia's European aspiration? So that's my first question. If you allow me, I will tell you. I will also share with you the second questions, and I will give you the prescribed time to respond to it. And the second question is related with the following: how Poland evaluates the relations in the European Union between the competences of the European institutions and the competence of the member states. And the last, little bit provocative questions: do you expect any tangible results in the near future? Thank you.
Any tangible?
Results from the process in the near future.
Okay.
So you have, let me check, 5-6 minutes to respond to the questions. Very brief. Thank you.
First question was about our reasons for our support, yeah? I think that first reason is quite obvious, and we share this way of thinking with the European Union. I mean the reasons of geopolitical nature. Enlargement of the EU is a very important strategic project for the whole continent. And we have to think not only about these states that could join EU in the past, we have to think also about new possible members. And in the first group of such states, there is no doubt for us about this, are states of this region, of the Western Balkan. In the second wave, as I mentioned in my speech, possibly later, it will be possible to think also about inviting countries like Ukraine. So geopolitical reasons, if European Union is not present here strongly, it means that we have a kind of geopolitical vacuum, and the question is who will be here instead of the EU. There are also reasons related to our bilateral relations. They are developed very well. I mean, not only relations between, in cooperation between institutions like governments, I mean also economic cooperation. Poland this year became 10th trade partner for North Macedonia, so this is very positive for us. I appreciate this very much. And the third dimension of these bilateral issues, people to people. It is worth to remind perhaps that during last years before COVID, Polish tourists were the largest number of tourists coming from the EU states to visiting North Macedonia. So we hope this trend will be re-established again. We have again direct flight connection with Warsaw, between Warsaw and Skopje. So we can be quite positive about this. And finally, I would like to mention, trying to answer this question, something that we can call kind of common experience. Countries like Poland in the past lost their independence and sovereignty for decades. So the situation of North Macedonia is a little different, but anyway, we all know what communism meant for us and how deeply destroyed the societies, the structure of the state, traditions. In our opinion, all countries that were suppressed during these communist times they deserve to be treated like real partners by Brussels, by our friends from different states being members of the European Union for 4 years. The second question was about, could you?
I will repeat the question. How Poland evaluates the relations in the EU between the competences of the European institutions and the competence of the member states? And I suggest that we'll end up with this question because we are running
This
out
issue
of
is
time.
really important and very delicate at the same time. The EU is acting in very special way. It has to take into account both interests of the community and interests of sovereign member states. So each decision is, that is why each decision is worked out in the long process, which is positive, of course. But of course, the tendency, general tendency, if we analyze the development of the EU, is that some competences are moving rather towards Brussels than towards member states. And of course, this is a very important element of this situation. And I just want to stress, to emphasize that on behalf of my country, that we are very sensitive about this issue. Because again, we lost our sovereignty for 45 years in different conditions, of course. And each change, in our opinion, is possible, but it should be discussed carefully among all member states. And we have to do this if we want to keep all this machine moving forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, for sharing your perspectives for such an important and significant question, the future of Europe's. Looking forward for Europe Bright, we move to the next session with the Prime Minister Edi Rama. Thank you.